Hey guys, hi, I'm Molly and I am here to go and talk to you guys. So I know for a fact that our innermost thoughts is what's connecting us. So I'm gonna go and talk to you by making sense of your thoughts. So there we go. I'm trying to get you guys to see me a little bit better. So I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit of my backstory. And I know that there are some new people here, so hi guys. So happy you guys came and joined. So I'm gonna go and start from the very beginning. So how would I start this? So this was in China. For those that don't know me, I was born in China. And I really don't know my real birth parents. And I just know that they were poor. And I can only sense things from memories. I can only remember certain feelings, meanings when I was a child. And I can't say exact events of what happened, but I think that my birth parents were super poor and they had a very hard time just getting basic needs. And I was in my mom's stomach and I could feel everything. And when I was born, they knew they couldn't take care of a child. There was speculation that maybe there was a second child. And when I was born, there was something wrong with me. I had a cleft lip. And they knew there had to be surgery, but they knew they couldn't take care of the cost for it since they were really poor. And I'm not sure, but if there was the one child policy rule. So they would rather have someone that's healthy. So what they did, now this is what I've been told, is that they went and left me at a gas station. And it was cold out. And I absolutely hate the cold. And they just left me there to decide whatever the fate is. I guess I was meant to die. I don't really know. But they just didn't know what else to do. And so they went and took off, and a police officer found me. At least this is the story I've been told. And I was put into an orphanage, and I was there till I was 4.5 years old. And this orphanage, this man, he went and all the money that was given to this orphanage, he would take for drugs. Shoot up some heroin. And there was no money left for the children. And so I only had one change of clothes, and I was starved to death. Now, all I can remember is the feeling of starvation. That's all I can recall. But everything else, I have blocked it out of my mind because it was just too painful to go and understand. So I internalized it. So I was given shoes that didn't even fit me, and there was no toothbrushes. So I ended up getting a gum disease. And the shoes created me to have a bunion. And the orphanage did get my cleft lip fixed. And there were 2 floors on this orphanage. And the children were on one floor, and then the adults were on a different floor. And one of the floors you wouldn't be able to see when anyone visited. So one floor looked amazing. It was well kept. The other floor was not. That's where the children were held. And I honestly, I have no memory of what happened. Then my parents, they had an adoption agency, and they wanted to help families that couldn't have children to adopt from China. So they made this business. And part of the job is to go to different orphanages and to see how they're doing. Like, are they doing what they're supposed to do? Where's the money going? Stuff like that. And so some people would go and donate to the orphanage, and then they would go and give it to them. And one point, my dad, he went and visited my orphanage. And he was on the floor where everything's good. And my parents, my adopted parents from America, they had $2 that they went and adopted. And they were there. They brought food, and they wanted to give some food to the children. So they went and gave food to the children, and the children fought for the food. Like, legitimately fought to the death for food. And the adults thought it was funny. I know with my stature that I don't have the strength of someone that's normal sized. Well, I was starving, and I've always been the smaller person in a group. And I knew that I had to use my brain to go and get where I wanted to go in life. So I've told myself since I was born to go and see between the lines, to go and see the patterns. So I had to teach myself to do this in order to survive. So I had to use my brain to go and get food. So I thought I was in survival mode. And that's what I did. I used my brain to go and fight for my food instead of using strength. While the kids would beat each other up, I used my brain. So then my dad was about to leave. He's about, it was like 6'7", 6'5", I think, 6'3", something like that. And I was super tiny. And this is what I've been told. I don't really remember, but I've been told that I ran down the hallway hugging his legs, looking up into his eyes. And he told my mom, and they were like, oh, we have to get this child. So they decided to do the paperwork to get me. So now I'm the third child, and I'm the youngest child, but we're all kind of close, like the age range. And everything was good. I mean, when I first came into America, at first I spoke Chinese. And honestly, I really blocked a lot of things out. So it was as if it was a plain slate to me. But the only thing that I can remember are certain emotions connected to there. But on that, I don't really remember anything. So I went and where was I? So I went and wanted to really be part of the family, you know, and I really tried my best to, you know, learn English. And everything was good, you know, just normal. I could tell my dad really loved me, and I was told I was the favorite. I don't really know. I really can't remember. And I only knew him for about, till nearly I was 7, and then he died. And that's when things kind of started to shift. And that's when the dynamics started to change in the family. And my mom, she loved me, and she was grieving over the loss of her husband. And she would kind of take it out on me and was very, well, in my opinion, kind of mean, but unknowingly about it. And would say certain things that I am this and I am that, would stare into my eyes and tell me I am this and I'm that. And I believed it. And there was some sort of jealousy between one of my sisters. And one of my sisters went and said very hurtful things to me. Like, I wish you were dead. And just kind of go for after things that that were very personal. You don't deserve anything good. Would just tell me, you know, since you look like that, no one should go and take you seriously. And I believe these words. She would change things around to the point where I looked bad. So I would constantly get punished for things all the time. And she would steal things from me. And, you know, everyone viewed her as the good child, and I was the bad child. And my mom would always tell me that I am a bad child. I'm a horrible person. All this stuff. And it really hurt me. My mom would say that I'm manipulative. And that really got to me, because I thought to myself, like, I don't understand why I'm like this. And why do I pick up on things? And I necessarily don't do things to go and just benefit me, but I lived in survival mode because I was afraid of, will I ever get the next meal? And so that really messed with my head. So this went on for a very long time, this dynamic where I am constantly being punished, and I felt a lot of hate towards me. I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like I was the black sheep. And there were points especially where being told, I wish you were dead, I honestly did wish I was dead at some points. And I didn't really feel safe in my own home. And I couldn't really go anywhere else because you're a child. And at school, I was made fun of. At first, they wanted to put me in, one of those special ed classes because of my cleft lip. And my mom's like, no. And I didn't know English. Took me a little while to learn. Everything was a little delayed. And I went and did everything possible to learn English because I was told I was stupid. So I believed those words. Then around third grade, I picked up on things. I was the best reader in the class, the top grades. And since I was told a lot that I'm a loser, I did a lot of actions to go and prove to myself I am not that. So I became an overachiever. I went and became one of those students that made A's, and everything that I touch, I excel in. And though it was still ringing in my head, you're a loser. No matter what I did, no matter what accomplishment I did. And that rang in my ears around the clock. Then, fast forward, and then I graduate from college. I made all A's, was on the honor roll, got a scholarship, got into the master's program, and I still felt like a loser. And it was going to be paid for and everything. And I thought I was on the path to what I wanted, was to be a teacher. And then I graduated. And I graduated when it was the peak of COVID. Then I went and applied for the job that I wanted. Well, I thought was my dream job. I worked at the school for several years, so they knew me. And I was told I was an amazing teacher. Didn't get the job. And I was very upset because I was putting in extra hours without being paid for it. And the teachers would go and leave on purpose, and I would stay back to watch over the kids after school hours every day of this. And I was taking advantage. And I thought, is this going to be the rest of my life? And I have a deep passion for education. And I have a deep passion for understanding. And I never thought in my head, I hate certain people. All I wanted throughout life was to just understand. That's all. I wanted to understand. And why? Why is it like this? Why do I feel like this? Why And I would be up all night processing things, going over events, going over conversations, seeing between the lines, telling me the patterns. So I felt so powerless because that's what I've been told, that I'm powerless. So I wanted to feel something that would give me power. So I would tell myself all the time. And when I was younger, as a kid, I was in between the lines of trying to understand and wonder, is there a God? And why? Why do I feel like this? Why am I experiencing this? I don't understand. Did I do something? Did I deserve this? So I asked myself this every single night. I used to cry myself to sleep because every single time at the dinner table, I was made fun of. And we're talking about made fun of to the point where it was pick on Molly night every single night, and I had to stay there because I was told I had to stay and just take it. And that was every single day of this. So I went and I just took it. I would cry myself to sleep. I would ask God, like, if you are even real, please tell me. Please tell me what are the patterns. Tell me why. Give me a message when I am asleep. Please give me visions. Tell me. Please tell me on, just tell me how to solve world problems. I feel like that would give me some power because I felt so powerless. And if I knew the knowledge, then I think back then it would make me feel powerful. And so I had a lot of dreams, a lot of visions, and I kind of went crazy over it. I'm like, why? I guess I wasn't really meaning it. I was just wanting to feel powerful. And some of them, I kind of went crazy, but I didn't feel like I was allowed to talk about it. I've been told that there are certain things you shouldn't say, shouldn't do. So I just kept it inside. I didn't say anything to anyone. And so things that I picked up on, I just kept it inside. And so I was the silent child. I just didn't say anything. At one point, the teacher thought I couldn't even say anything. And so that's kind of how I lived my life, where I was just silent. I'd just observe and not say anything because I knew I'd be ridiculed. And I was hearing those words 24/7, those certain thoughts of who am I? And then there was one day I went and I knew there were certain inclinations to get myself out, but I didn't want to. I wanted to look up videos of self-improvement to try to understand what was going on. And I got a little obsessive over it. And at one point, so I had a certain idea how to get out, but I didn't want to because I felt that was all I knew, that certain feeling of survival and being in pain and silence. And so I went and just went on my life. And I finally found a video where it said how to get out exactly. And it matched up to the dream that I said back then, my video. And I was like, that's the way out, to understand what's going on. So I did it. I did my inner work. I would tell myself to reframe things and to certain affirmations to get me to see things differently. And it was working, but it was constant work, inner work. I was doing it in silence. I was doing it all night long, repeating it over again, as if my life depended on it, because I knew I couldn't live like this. That this feeling, I was going to die of heartbreak, of not understanding love, and just feeling just pain. That's it. And so I did the work, and there was this one point that a light bulb went off in my head, and I was telling myself, I am light, I am light, I am light. And it was working. And it finally clicked in my head. I was in the bathroom and my mom was saying something to my sister. Molly, what was the words? Molly is incapable. And I was like, that's weird. That's not me. And I realized the entire time it was a projection. All those words, all those thoughts, all those situations that I've been in. It's all been a projection. And everyone around you is just a projection of your thoughts. And you're supposed to learn from it. You learn that life is an experience. And you were put in a certain situation to learn from it. It's like a classroom, but it's hands-on. And you don't know it until you wake up and understand what's going on. And since I was saying, I am light, I am light, it woke me up to realize that wasn't me. Those words that people have said, it wasn't me. And so I think in between that time period, I was seeing a form of it working. And so I went and thought to myself, what if I can do it on a smaller scale on people? Test this out on people, but without their knowledge. The thing is that I learned throughout life is people don't want to heal. They just don't. Some people just don't. They refuse it. But I've learned that you can go and do it indirectly, or you can do it without their knowledge to help them heal. And so I went and practiced certain tactics on people to help them to get there, to wake up, to see that those things, those thoughts aren't even you. It's someone else's. Certain situations, certain ideas put into your head. So I practiced these and it worked on people. What I would do is I would observe, which I've done this for years, and I'm pretty quick at it. And I watch their behaviors, just instinctively. And I would go And I did this as a side hustle. I would go in their home, I would do cleaning, and I did organizing. And if you're an organizer, you are supposed to go and learn people's habits. Habits are certain behaviors that people do. And you can go and time things in your head to figure when they're going to do it. Because everyone has a certain pattern. Even if you're random, it's still a pattern. And so I would go and play things out in my head as if in a movie. And I would go and watch them carefully. And I would go and organize their place in a psychological way to increase their frequency. Because I knew that was how I was going to do. I could say certain keywords at certain points. I could go and put things in certain places. But it has to be timed correctly. And so I did. And it worked. And then I went and started up a business. And it was a whole other ball game. I guess I didn't realize how much work it was going to be to do everything on your own, because I was relying on something else to help me out, like to pull people in. So then I went and did everything on my own, the sales and everything, which I documented all that. And I got really stressed. My body was not handling everything. I was seeing things working, and my body wasn't handling it. I was having anxiety attacks all day, all night. There were days I couldn't even get up because it was just too much for me to handle, to see actually maybe my thoughts were right about things, certain patterns, to increase the frequency. And so I've learned I have to change my way of thinking. Everything's a classroom. So instead, a grocery store is a pantry. Certain addictions that people have in their home, now it's on the outside world. So if you're a smoker or drinker, so imagine it in their home, because the outside world is a home. And so I had to reframe things and see things differently. And so I realized maybe I can do something, but change my way of thinking and help people increase their frequency on a bigger scale. And so that's what I want to do. But I know I can do it indirectly, and I can do it directly. And I've been doing it more so on video here with you guys. And I've been figuring on how to generate more income so I can go and just focus on just this. And then I can go out and do whatever other entrepreneur endeavors there are that I want to do. But it's going to take time. And I understand that. And consistency. I understand that. And I knew I had to be seen. I knew I had to be seen. So I went online and I documented everything. I knew at a very young age that I was supposed to go online. That's what I was told. And I'm one of those people where everything has to be science-backed, and I have to see things in order for me to believe it. And so I wasn't really sure. My visions or my dreams, are they even real? And is this all made up in my head? I told myself, I want to test these ideas out. I'm not sure if I'm correct. Maybe I am wrong. I don't know. I don't know if I was given a blueprint of understanding how the world worked and how to increase the frequency, to help people wake up, to help people be more aligned to a happier state. But I was told in my dream that is my responsibility. And it felt a very heavy weight onto me. I believe I was told at like 10 or 12, I had this vivid dream, kept happening over and over and over again, as if it happened in real time. I was confused, and I was given all these other things. And so I thought to myself, maybe I should test this out and see. What if I'm wrong? What if I make a fool of myself? What if those thoughts that I was told all along, I am that? I told myself, there's nothing wrong with trying. There's nothing wrong with just seeing. Is this information correct? Is it all in your head? Are you crazy? So a lot of these things that I have said, my videos, reflections, I don't really talk about them. So people that have seen my videos that met me in person, they're like, what is this? I've never even seen this person talk like this. It's because I kept it in my mind because I was told it wasn't appropriate. And I was hearing certain thoughts. And so I went on social media to share the whole journey, to see, am I correct? And if I'm wrong, it's okay. I'm not going to be upset. At least I got to see. Because life is an experience, guys. It's nothing else. You're not supposed to just accomplish. Be perfect. I thought that that's what my route was. I'm supposed to be perfect and be linear. And you stick with one thing, and that's the end of time for you. You go about your life. And I thought I was supposed to live a life of pain, anger, misunderstanding. And all these reflections, guys, was because this was deep in my mind, but I just didn't say anything. This is a lot of thoughts at night, being up all night long, because that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to understand why. Where are these thoughts coming from? This can't be me. This can't. And so I said, I am light. I realized I am light. Light is a sign of hope. Hope is what's getting people to carry on. Hope is what's gonna go and get people to be aligned, guys. That's what I've learned. And there's so many forms of it. I saw it in my mind, of every single form of it. And I went crazy over it. I was a kid. Like, this information I'm not supposed to be given. It's weird. Plus, I didn't understand if there was a God. I wasn't seeing any physicalness. And I did go to church, but I hated it. It was boring. So I steered away from it. And when I first came in America, I did go to Catholic school, but I didn't like it. It was boring. So I kind of steered away from it. And I was more on the spiritual side, trying to understand. That's all I've craved for, is to understand. Why? Questioning everything around me. That's all I do. Is question. Question this, question that. I've been told that I ask way too many questions. When you meet me in person, I constantly ask questions. And people view it as a sign of stupidity. You're boring. You're uninteresting. And I don't really care. Because I came here on earth to experience something and understand what's going around me. I just wanted to know, to stop this pain. I really wanted to heal. And as you get older, you realize that you have to be healed already before you go and heal other people. I knew there were tactics. And some form of it I did, but it wasn't fully. So people that I've connected with, and they know who they are, that the connection's there, and you felt something deep. Without even saying any words, you know. And I help them heal, or at least realize something. Awareness, more awareness. But I couldn't fully heal them because I was still in pain. So I had to cut it off, certain connections, and it was very painful. Couldn't seem to understand. And so I cut a lot of people off. And I healed then. I realized what falling in love is. So watch that video if you want to know. And what's left when you're dead. I've always felt that in the mind, I'm energetically a teenager. So I have a lot of energy when you meet me in person. But in the mind, I've always felt like double my age. And my appearance-wise, I look young to people, which has certain connotations to it. And I ask myself, why? Why was I given this? I don't understand. And I thought to myself, is it because I was curious if people would listen to someone that looks young? So I felt like someone that was in their 60s, in their mind. Because everything in my mind feels double the time period. I never understood why. And I don't know if internally I am an old person stuck in a young person's body. I ask myself, why? Why is that? I don't get it. There's certain connotations to it. People won't listen to me. And I thought to myself, what if I came here to see, to experience? Would people listen? Would they? Or would they just see the limitation? The connotations of a young person. Don't listen. I wanted to see if I'm thinking, is the code that strong? Code meaning pattern. I'll tell you in a different video how to figure that out. But is the code that strong of a limitation to see a person's body and to not listen to them? Is it? Is it that strong, this code? Or can it be broken? Can people look past it? Can people just see the thought, hear the thought, dream about the thought, think about it 24/7? Can they? Will they learn? Can they see past things? Can I do it? Do I have that ability? I wanted to see if the code is that strong. I'm not sure. I think that's maybe why I came here. To wonder, is the code that strong? Is the pattern, the way that people see other people as limitations? Can they just see the thought, hear the thought, and think about it at night? Ponder about it. Is she correct? I'm not here to go and see, to gain glory if I'm right. I don't wish for that. I just wish to understand. See, the thing is, I think that we're here to just, when it comes to frequency, is your state of being. And it can be changed once you wake up. And it takes time. It takes a lot of work, a lot of thinking. And lots of people like to stay in their pattern. And that's okay. That's what they wish. But there's a way out. And I know that now. And I can see it. And I want you to be there too, along with me, so we can just enjoy the ride in the car with no baggage. There's no suitcases in there. Nothing. Just you and I. And we get to talk all night. Understand. Be heard. See our value. Use our gifts and talents to the max so we can live that fulfilling life that you dream about. There's a reason why you dream the things you dream. The more that I aged, the more I could see that there is a God, higher being, higher self. I saw it, and it freaked me out. It's like, what the heck is this? This can't be right. Everything is physical. That's what I thought in my mind. What you see is there, blatantly. But I had to train my brain to see in between the lines, see the pattern, figure people out, to understand. Not as beneficial just for you, because that's boring. Just to understand. Searching. And to be in that peace, happiness, fulfillment that I've always wanted. And I honestly feel that. I'm very fulfilled in the job I have. I just feel it doesn't pay that much. And I know not everything is about money. I get it. But I wanted more because I know that the more money that you make, an understanding of money, and understanding on how to influence, then you have so much power and you can do so many things, incredible things. And a lot of people, they think like me. The people that are up there, I know it. I can see it. And a lot of them have bad intent. That's why I talk a lot about intent behind action. And it always appears, no matter what. Sometimes it's shown when they're dead, though. But it always shows up what is their intent behind action. And people that see the code, they'll understand what I'm saying. They will. And that is why I am here. I will do everything possible to bring in hope, because I understand that is what drives people to move things forward. I heard in my dream or saw, I'm not really sure, that we are not where we're supposed to be as a collective whole. We are not. And someone has to drive that force to do that. And I know deep down, I believe it's hope. That's what it is. That's going to drive the force forward. To move along where humanity is supposed to go. And I felt crazy over this, learning about this, not understanding why am I given this information. And so a lot of the videos that I produce are a little odd, I guess, to people. But I was deep down told I'm supposed to go and do these. That was my responsibility before I'm dead. I was just like, oh goodness. And I asked myself, am I doing it because I don't want repercussions? Or do I just really want this? Because I want everyone else to understand, to see what lies past things, not just see things at face value. We live in a world where there's so much surface level. And I would see things, and it would drive me crazy because I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. When I say something, I looked at like I'm crazy. I'm like, what? And then I've met others that are like me. I was like, maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe I can find them. But how? I knew it was going online. I was scared to death over it because I was told, you should not. It's forever. The thing is, though, it's meant to be forever. That's how you leave an imprint. When you're dead and gone, what is left is what you did, what thoughts that you left. That's what's going to be remembered. That's how you leave an imprint, is to go and have your thoughts out. Have people remember it. And they go and do word of mouth. Pass it on. Social media. Books. That's what I was told, at least. And so, that's why I see dandelions everywhere. When I was a child, I've always viewed them as a sign of hope. I used to wish things on dandelions 24/7. In my head or in person. Every time something was too painful, I would just put my head in a field of dandelions, and I would just wish and wish and wish I was not there. Because it was just too painful. I'd block things out in my head. And people think it's a little weird that I literally do not remember certain things because I blocked it out intentionally. And no matter how much I try to recall, I can't seem to remember. But I can remember the meaning, the feeling. And so that's kind of how I went and learned all these things, guys, in silence. In my head. In the back of my head. Not telling anyone. That's where you're getting this from. And I know that when I'm dead and gone, all of this is going to be my imprint. And I know that. So as long as I keep telling my thoughts and get people to understand that thoughts is what's connecting us, our innermost thoughts. Thoughts that we don't even know are there. And I can have people remember when I'm dead, then it carries on. And those people will produce hope too. Generation by generation. Over and over and over. And you're wondering, well, on all of her platforms, she did something different. Because I kept trying over and over again to do different avenues. And probably when I went on YouTube, it was a little confusing because I was surface level at the very beginning, and TikTok, I was some other material, some deep things. And then I go on YouTube and I talk about surface level things because I found it hard to believe that people would actually want to listen to me, actually would want to see my point of view, would actually want to see what lies behind, willing to see the pattern that I see. I thought that I would just be labeled crazy, and that's okay. I'm okay with it. I have told myself I don't care about judgment anymore. And I think I lived a life that I was supposed to overcome that before I make it big. So I wouldn't stop what I'm doing. I wouldn't get too scared. And I would go back in the fear state. So if you were curious a little bit more about my backstory and wondering where is this all coming from, Now you know.